I made the move to the San Fernando Valley a number of years ago. Now, my wife and I went back and forth on whether this was the right region of Los Angeles that we wanted to move to. Now, my wife is originally from the San Fernando Valley, and I am from West LA. So, if you're watching this video, we didn't make this large move across the country or even across the state. It was literally just about a 14-mile move, but it's still a big decision because of how different the San Fernando Valley is from the rest of the city. And we also made this move knowing that we were going to be starting a family. And that's why you tuned into this video, because you may have a family or thinking about starting a family, or that may be something in your future that you're going to want to consider before making the big move to wherever you're going to move. So in this video, I'm going to go over the top 5 reasons that is a big draw to move to the San Fernando Valley with a family. And at the end of the video, I'm also going to go over the 5 reasons why you may want to reconsider or give you pause to moving to the San Fernando Valley. So stay tuned. Now, the first topic on the list was extremely important to my wife and I. We've got 2 kids, about 6-year-old to 2-year-old. And also when I've talked to many of my clients who have moved to the San Fernando Valley and LA in general, this has become one of the big topics for them in considering a move. And that is opportunity. Now, I know when we think opportunity right away, we're thinking opportunities for us grown-ups, for job opportunities, maybe family opportunities. But for kids, it's also important. It can be very game-changing. If you've lived in other parts of the country, not necessarily moving from other parts of Los Angeles, but in other parts of the country, you may not have as many opportunities as you would in the San Fernando Valley. And opportunities is going to be kind of a running theme throughout this entire video. But in general, what I'm referring to as there's a lot of different things to experience as a family unit and for your kids to experience that they may not get in other areas. There are so many cultural experiences that our kids get to enjoy when living in the San Fernando, from museums, art, dance, food, and people from different cultures and ethnicities and religions and people of all types living in the San Fernando Valley. I just feel that alone, that opportunity to be around so many different types of people really kind of expands the growth and the experience that our kids have as they're growing up. There's also so many places for extracurricular activities outside of school, whether it's sports, because we have such great weather year-round. You name the type of sport, it's going to be available to you in the San Fernando Valley. And no matter where you live in the San Fernando Valley, there's so many parks and rec centers throughout the entire region that, I mean, literally in any neighborhood you go to, your children will have any sporting opportunities they want. In addition, robotics, art classes, gyms, gymborees, martial arts, science centers, gaming centers, all of these extra experiences and learning opportunities in addition to what you're going to get in school is incredible. Now, having lived in other parts of the country, you may get that, but you'll have like one of each. You'll have one art class area, one robotics facility. But when you're living in the San Fernando Valley, there are many choices, and I think that's goes to the opportunity. Personally, having lived in other parts of the country for a little bit, in a little bit of a smaller city, and having these conversations with family and friends that live in other regions, that they may find like a cool art class for their kid, but if it's not during the right time and doesn't meet their schedule and it just doesn't work out, well, then they can't bring their kids to that class. Same with sporting events. Or, honestly, this happens where you go to like a robotics place, camp, and maybe the instructor isn't just gelling. You're not gelling with the instructor. You don't really like that. Well, if you only have that one choice of a facility or that one class or that extracurricular activity, that one area to go to, then you have no other choice, or you may have to travel for an hour or 2 hours or to a completely different city to find something similar for your kids. We're living in the San Fernando Valley. If something doesn't line up for you schedule-wise, that's cool. You just go find another facility close by. Or if you're not really gelling with the instructor and you don't really like what they're doing and you want to find a different place, no problem. There's plenty to choose from. And that's what I really like about the San Fernando Valley, is that there's so many choices for opportunity that it really, again, goes back to having more parental control and giving your kids that experience that they may not get. I think it's great to have multiple choices, because then you have a little bit more control as a parent, whether you want it to be closer to where you work, closer to where you live, or maybe one facility is better than the other for you. It's the right choice for you. I just like having the opportunity to have many different choices in all sorts of activities. Also in the San Fernando Valley, you're going to find lots of fun places like kid zones, miniature golf places, trampoline parks, laser tag, VR virtual reality facilities, movie theaters, anything that you'd want to do as a family is going to be right there in the San Fernando Valley. And again, it's not just one or two of these facilities. You have multiple dozens and dozens of each of these types of facilities. Also, by living in the San Fernando Valley, while these may not be right in your backyard, you still get to expose your kids to these and your family gets to enjoy this. You have the beach. Now, granted, yes, it's not in West LA or along the coastal communities, but you still can get to the beach. It's about a 40-minute drive, depending on traffic, and your kids will have the opportunity to be at the beach during the summers or pretty much throughout the whole year when you're living in the San Fernando Valley, LA region. Also, if you like the snow, skiing, snowboarding, it's really only a couple hours away, so your kids will have that opportunity as well. So again, one of the biggest draws for us and for a lot of my clients in the San Fernando Valley is the opportunity that it gives their kids and their family just to enjoy a little bit more aspects of life and be exposed to so many more things that may not necessarily be found in other parts of the country or even other parts of California. As a reminder, I'm Dave Fine with the Real Estate Dads at eXp Realty. My team and I love helping people move to and relocate to Los Angeles and the regions, including the San Fernando Valley. So if you are considering that move, make sure you reach out to us at the contact information below. And as always, if you like this video, subscribe, tap the bell to get notified for new videos, and hit that like button. Comment below. Love to hear why you're also thinking about moving to the San Fernando Valley and which portion of the valley you are thinking about moving to. Okay, the next big draw is the outdoor lifestyle and the weather that we have here. We have about 300 days of sun. Need I say more? I mean, if you've got a family or thinking about having a family or just like being outdoors, that's got to speak volumes to you because that is very rare and unique to LA region and the San Fernando Valley. We get some of the best weather in the country. And when you have kids, if you're anything like my wife and I, we love to be outside with them because we don't necessarily want to be holed up in the house playing toys constantly or trying to, get them off of their iPads or their wanting to watch TV. We like to encourage being outdoors and enjoying nature, enjoying just playing around, playing with friends outside, playing with us outside, and it gives us a reason to be outside as well. So a big draw is that outdoor lifestyle. Now, if you are an avid hiker or like the hiking lifestyle, we have that in the San Fernando Valley. We take our kids hiking all the time now. The valley sits in this bowl surrounded by mountains and hills. And throughout all those mountains and hills, plenty of hiking trails from all different levels. So really easy to take the family if you want to take your kids hiking. And if you live in some parts of the San Fernando Valley in the hills and the mountains, you literally have trailheads that start right in your immediate neighborhood, maybe just a couple blocks away from some of those hillside properties. So that's even a bigger draw if you want to live hillside in the San Fernando Valley. So in addition to the hiking trails, we've got the pool lifestyle here is big in the San Fernando Valley because we get so much sun and because it does get really hot here in the summers. A lot of the homes here have their own private pools, so you'll see plenty of people, families hanging out poolside throughout the summer, throughout the day, throughout the year really. And then all of the parks and the park and rec systems here, a lot of them have community pools, so that's a big draw as well for being outdoors. I mentioned parks. Pretty much every neighborhood, every region within the San Fernando Valley has its own park, neighborhood park and rec center. So it's very encouraging to be outside. They've got outdoor sporting activities, outdoor festivals, outdoor holiday celebrations. And I mentioned pools. They've got outdoor basketball courts, tennis courts, soccer fields, baseball fields. And again, because our weather is so amazing, this is not just something you do in the spring and summer like other parts of the country, but you actually get to enjoy it year round, which is really cool. What I also love, this is the simple part of having great weather and the outdoor lifestyle is if you're parents and you've got kids and you want some space and you want a break, you can send them outdoors and you get that much needed break. They can go play outside. We don't have to worry about weather, raining, snowing, anything like that. It's pretty much sunny again, and you just send them out and they can play, whether it's in the backyard hanging out or in the front, on the street hanging out with kids in the neighborhood. They go outside and we get a breather. I think having that sun kind of year round just makes things so much more enjoyable. You get to do more things outside. You get to even just doing your basic errands. You don't have to put on any winter clothes or glove up or put on a beanie when it's cold. None of that. You don't have to worry about any of that. You just go. It makes just your day-to-day activities a lot happier. And I feel like with all the vitamin D and sunshine we get, it just gives you that happy feeling. Now, I know this having lived in other parts of the country, and of course, speaking with family and friends that don't live in the San Fernando Valley or don't live in Los Angeles. Winter time, it could be pretty gloomy for a good 3 months when it's raining, and the parts where it's snowing, you have to shovel snow off your driveway. You've got to de-ice your car. You're chiseling ice off your windows. You're making sure you don't slip and slide on your way out to the car if you parked outside, or if you're running errands. No black ice to speak of. You're not bundling up your kids, and when you have a family, getting in and out as quickly as possible just makes things so much smoother. So no winter coats, no winter mittens or gloves, no beanies. You don't have to take all of that off when you get to the house. It makes things so much easier when you don't have to deal with any of that, because we have such amazing weather. And again, because of this, we have lots of outdoor activities throughout the year, outdoor festivals, outdoor celebrations. People in general are just outside and enjoying life. I mean, you see other parts, people are celebrating Christmas with snow, or if it's gloomy, it's rainy, your kids just got a new bike or a scooter or skateboard and they can't really go outside and use it. Well, that's not the case in Los Angeles. They get that bike for the holidays and they're out the door using it right away. So there are some drawbacks. You don't get the seasons that you do in other parts of the country, but hey, that's just a sacrifice you have to make if you want that much sunshine throughout the year. The third draw for the San Fernando Valley, especially when you're looking at Los Angeles in general, it's such a big city and you're trying to figure out where in the city or the county that you want to live in, you're drawn to the San Fernando Valley for a number of reasons. Number 3 would be the suburban lifestyle. When you're living in Los Angeles, there's not too many opportunities for that suburban lifestyle and still be part of the city. And the San Fernando Valley offers you just that. It's probably one of the biggest suburban regions of all of Los Angeles. And it's a big reason why we made the move. When we were in our 20s and early 30s, we wanted a little bit be in the middle of the hustle and more of in the middle of the entertainment spots. That was important for us to be able to just walk right out from our door, hit up a restaurant, hit up a bar, hit up a club. But as we got older and as we were figuring out what was important to us for raising a family, we wanted something quieter region where it didn't feel as hectic, and we didn't need to necessarily be as close to those nightlife spots as we did when we were younger. And so the San Fernando Valley, it was a perfect spot for us. So we kind of traded in our desire to want to go to clubs and bars and the trendy restaurants to having backyard barbecues and grilling it up by the poolside, having neighbors over and friends just kind of hanging out at the house, block parties, walking around the neighborhood, kind of enjoying that type of lifestyle more so than the entertainment lifestyle. Also, we were beach goers when we were younger. I always loved to be in the ocean. I grew up by the ocean, kind of that West LA area. But for me, I became less intrigued by the ocean and more intrigued with hiking. And so again, San Fernando Valley was perfect for that. And kind of coupled with the suburban lifestyle, that just worked out for my family and I. We also take advantage of the quintessential suburban lifestyle attraction, which is the mall. We go to the mall often. When it is hot in summers, we used it as relief. We still wanted to be out of the house, and so we would go to the mall, especially when you have young children that can't really be in the heat too long. So we go to the mall and just bring them there and hang out, the indoor mall. But there's some really cool outdoor shopping facilities and shopping centers, the newest one being the Village over in Woodland Hills. Highly recommend going there. It's really cool. They've got open space, green space, everything you can imagine that a mall would have, but it's all outdoors. So that's really cool because you can, again, experience and enjoy the sunshine and still get that mall experience, that suburban feel, suburban lifestyle. Also, the benefits of living in more of a suburban areas, it's just less congested. It's less traffic. When you live in West LA, downtown Los Angeles, Hollywood, Beverly Hills, those areas, a lot of mid-rise, high-rise buildings, tons of people packed in. Not only you have the businesses there, but you also have very impacted apartment and condo areas, just lots and lots of people. Parking is impacted. It's terrible to park there. You're paying for parking everywhere you go. And then you're just sitting in traffic everywhere you go. Well, you live in the San Fernando Valley, you're still going to hit traffic, especially if you're comparing it to where you live now, probably in other parts of the country outside of Los Angeles. traffic's going to be pretty bad, but not nearly as bad as other parts of the city. And it's not nearly as congested. There's a lot more single family homes out here. It's less impacted by condos and apartments, so it doesn't feel as congested. You're not paying for parking as much as you would in other parts of the city. Again, just really enjoying the suburban vibe and lifestyle. Another big reason and big draw for the San Fernando Valley is the entertainment value. Now, again, more of the suburban entertainment value. If you really want something that's kind of trendy and high end, then you're probably going to look in other parts of the city. But again, suburban entertainment, there is no shortage of it in the San Fernando Valley. So you've got many museums, especially things that are dedicated to kids. One being the Discovery Cube over in Sylmar area. It's basically a kids museum, but it's fun for adults too. It's very hands-on, very interactive. It's open year-round. They've got also special holiday exhibits and special exhibits there that come throughout the year. My kids especially love the dinosaur exhibit that comes through there. Usually they have that once a year. They do something cool around the holidays. Cool they do Halloween specials there. You also have the Noah's Ark attraction over at the Skirball Museum. This is really cool and highly immersive and highly interactive for kids. They can pretend they're on Noah's Ark. They learn the story of Noah's Ark, and they've got outdoor digging, fossil digging. It's just really, really special, and it's just all geared towards the kids. You also have the Los Angeles Zoo, which is pretty nearby. It's not necessarily in the San Fernando Valley, but it's pretty close. When you're living in the San Fernando Valley, it's like maybe a 35-minute drive or so to get there, part of the Griffith Park system. So the zoo is right there, great attraction for the kids. In addition to Griffith Park, you've got some other, I mentioned all the parks and rec areas already, but you've got major point of attraction parks like Hanson Dam, where they got equestrian horseback riding there. They've got pools there, big walking, hiking areas there. And that's actually where the Discovery Cube is all in that same region. You also have Lake Balboa Park, which is basically between Encino and Van Nuys, Sherman Oaks. Huge park system there. They've got man-made lake, but they've got like swan boats in there that you can paddle boat around. They got fishing, playgrounds. And over there they have major events and big festivals there throughout the year as well. Also close by is a really big attraction, amusement park, Universal Studios. Again, it's on the very eastern portion of the San Fernando Valley area. And that's a really cool spot. Not quite as big as Disneyland and Knott's Berry Farm, but a huge draw. Really cool attractions. They've got water rides, roller coasters. The coolest thing and the most unique part about Universal Studios is you can go backstage and see the sound studios, the visual studios, and they do a really cool Halloween-themed scare in the park. And during the Halloween season, they've got the Halloween haunt there at Universal Studios. It's really hard to describe. But it's awesome, and you go there and they just have these big scare zones. Everything is decked out. I mean, the Universal's movies and TV, so they know what they're doing. They make that place super cool. If your kids are really get kind of startled easily, maybe not the best place to take them, especially if they're really young.
Jeez! Jesus Christ.
But it's an awesome outing and a great date night if you can get away from the kids as well for an evening during the Halloween season. What I also like about the entertainment in the San Fernando Valley is that because it is geared towards families, it's something fun for kids and adults to do. I mentioned this earlier in the video, but they've got the fun zones, the trampoline parks, miniature golf. All of those things are something, arcades, the virtual reality, tons of movie theaters. So much of the entertainment here is geared towards the family. All right, the fifth one on the list, this is actually going to be number 5 for reasons why people love the San Fernando Valley, and number 1 of why you may want to reconsider moving to the San Fernando Valley, and that is the education in the schools here. We'll start off with the positive. We'll start off with higher education. There's so many great higher education institutions in the San Fernando Valley and basically surrounding, so really close by. So if you are thinking long-term or future, or if you've got kids that are in high school and are now thinking about going, into the university and college levels, even community college levels, and maybe they're the type that don't want to move too far away from the nest, or maybe you don't want them to move too far away from the nest. It's right there in our own backyard. We've got some major universities, including one of the biggest and best in the San Fernando Valley, and that's the California State University Northridge. It's my alma mater. That's where I went. But you also have, of course, major universities like UCLA, USC, and big UC system, big Cal State system with plenty of schools. And then, of course, you've got the private schools, which I mentioned, USC, but you got Loyola Marymount and many other private choices that are that are all throughout the Los Angeles and San Fernando area. Now, when it comes to lower education, elementary school, middle school, high school, this is where it can get kind of dicey. Now, we have some amazing schools within the San Fernando Valley, from primary education through high school, public and private. And they have fantastic facilities, fantastic community support, and really cool special programs. They've got language programs, robotics programs, science programs, art programs, music programs. You name the type of program or niche or something that your kid really enjoys, and you're going to find it in the San Fernando Valley. The issue is you've got to find it, then you have to live in the neighborhood where that school is, or you've got to get a special zoning pass or be a part of the magnet program. This is where it can become complicated and discouraging and may be a little bit overwhelming and too much for you to deal with, and you may want to live somewhere else. But when it comes to the school system in the San Fernando Valley, for the most part, the public schools are part of the Los Angeles Unified School District, which is way too big. If you see my other videos about Los Angeles, you've seen me talk about it. My mom was a school teacher there. I went through the systems there. And luckily, fortunate enough for me, I lived in neighborhoods that were attached to some really great schools, high performing, and had great community support. But that and got a lot of resources because of that. But that is not the case for many schools throughout the public school system. Now, you do have the private sector, which some of the best schools in the country are in the San Fernando Valley. However, they come at a super high price, $25,000, $35,000, $45,000 a year, and that adds up quick. And if that is not your price point or even something that you'd consider, then you definitely have to fall back on the public school system. And that's where it becomes important to talk to real estate agent, community, people, family, friends, to kind of figure out how the schools are. Go to greatschools.org or niche.com. Those two sites will give you great insight onto how the school is performing and what the community support like is. So highly recommend checking those places out when you're looking at homes to purchase or move to when living in the San Fernando Valley. Now, I mentioned magnet program. That is something that becomes highly relevant here in the San Fernando Valley and LA Unified School District. But it is hard to navigate. In fact, it's encouraged that you actually start applying for magnet programs before your kids are actually even reach the school age, because it works off of a point system. Now, I'm not going to get into details on this video. If you want more details, make sure you reach out to my team and I at the contact information below, and I can set you up with people who really know how to navigate the system, because it's like a game and it's like a chess match. I mean, it's complicated and can be overwhelming if you're not used to it or if you don't know anyone that can help you get through it. But if you know people that have been through the system and have navigated all of the process, it makes it a lot easier. But it's definitely something you're going to want to start thinking about before your kids even hit school age, because it is a big process. Second reason why you may want to reconsider moving to the San Fernando Valley is it is expensive. Maybe not as expensive as other parts of the city, but expensive nonetheless. When you're the median home price, single family home price, is $1 million, and the median condo townhome price is about $570,000. It adds up quick, and that's just your basic roof over your head. But in addition to that, you also think about some of your other family necessities. If you're not in a position where you can be a stay-at-home parent and you need to send your kids to daycare like we did, it's really expensive. We had both of our kids go through daycare. One's now in elementary school, so thankfully we're not paying for that anymore. But you're paying anywhere between $1,100 a month to $2,000 a month, depending on the age. And that's kind of middle of the road. There are some places that are less expensive, and there are places that are more expensive. And again, it's sometimes hard to find the right facility that matches where you live, where you work, if they're even available, because they're so high. So many people are so many people are looking for daycare. Now, let's say you're in a great position where you can go on date night, because we all know we need that much needed break from our kids sometimes, and you just want to go out and have a little fun on your own. Well, for someone to watch your kids, if you don't have family and friends to do it for you for free, you're going to be spending around $25 an hour. And that's for one kid. If you've got two, it may run you more, but that can get pretty expensive, especially if you're just if you're out for 4 hours, that's $100 right there. Or even if you just go out, that basically is like a dinner and a movie. So not only are you paying the expenses of your entertainment, but you also are now paying for $25 an hour babysitter. Now, let's talk about dining out. We cook a lot at home. We just like doing that, but we do like to take the family out for dinner, for lunch once in a while. And so we do dine out at restaurants, family-friendly restaurants with our kids. And a family of 4, we got big eaters. With tip, you're looking around $80 for a family of 4. So again, depending on where you go, depending on if you like to add drinks to your dinner, that can of course vary, but definitely expect a higher price point when you're dining out in the San Fernando Valley area. Now, you need to drive everywhere in the San Fernando Valley. We don't have a great public transportation system, so having a car and putting gas in your car is very relevant and very important, so you may want to know the price of gas. That's going to vary depending on what part of the San Fernando Valley and where you are in LA, but you're sitting, $5, $6 on up a gallon. It also depends on the time of the year. You have the summer blend, which we call it here, when they add additional summer tax to your gas. So gas is very expensive here. Now that's going to be for you whether you have a family or not, but when you have kids, you're taking them to school, you're taking them to daycare, you're taking them to their activities, you're taking them to friends' houses, you're in the car often. So it adds up. So just something to be aware of. All right, I just alluded to you being in the car often, and that's no joke. You really will be, because it is a car culture here, and we're so sprawled out here that you need a car, and if not 2 when you have kids. And so traffic is a big discouraging factor when living in the San Fernando Valley. And I mentioned earlier, not nearly as bad as other parts of the city, but I want to make sure you're prepared for what you will experience here. We'll start off having to travel far. So if you need to get to other parts of the city like West LA, West Los Angeles area, Beverly Hills, Hollywood, downtown area, you're going to be sitting on a nightmare system of a freeway. Now, this may not directly affect you by having kids in the car when you're going to these places, let's say for work, but it will affect your mood. I'll get to that in a minute. But you can expect, if you're going into downtown, hour and a half one way, same thing with West Los Angeles, depending on how deep you need to go. Same thing with Beverly Hills, Hollywood. It is going to be brutal. And so being stuck in the car for that long, if you're not used to that, it can really affect your mood. So when you come back home to your family, it may put you in a bad mood, and now you've got your kids that are running up to you. They're excited to see you. You want to be excited for them, but you just sat in traffic for an hour and a half. You're upset and miserable because of that. That can have an effect on your family and just how you are and how you feel. There are many ways to kind of circumvent that feeling. You just have to get used to it. Since I was born and raised in it, I've found ways to get through it. I listen to podcasts, my favorite music. I'm listening to educational videos. I'm making my business phone calls. I'm making personal phone calls. I'm doing things to kind of keep myself entertained and not focused on just sitting in traffic, wondering why I'm moving at snail's pace. Sometimes I'll even meditate while I'm driving, because yes, if you're sitting that long, you can just zone out. Pay attention while you're driving, but you can meditate while you're driving. That all helps. If you're focused on the traffic, it'll drive you batty. And it's probably nothing like you've ever experienced before if you don't live in the greater Los Angeles area. So, but that's just you and your car. Now add your kids to the car. That's a whole nother level, whole nother dimension. When you're traveling with kids, hopefully you can entertain them, having great conversations, playing, word games or whatever it is. If you have to throw some electronics in front of them to keep them busy on longer rides, so be it. No judgment here. But at some point, your kids are going to be asking, are we there yet? And that can drive you nuts. And if they're feeling miserable, then that can weigh on you. If you can't be in the right mindset and you get to your destination, everyone's upset because it took so long. And it kind of took that excitement of getting to your destination out of the picture. Or coming home from whatever your activity is, you're just that much more tired because it took you that much longer. And you've got to allot for the time to get to these activities, or you're going to be late to class, late to gym, late to your sporting event, late to school. You don't want any of that. And so it could weigh heavy on your kids when they're sitting in the car as well, which then can weigh on you. The fourth reason why you may want to reconsider moving to the San Fernando Valley is you may not feel connected to the rest of the city. You may feel disconnected. And what I mean by that is as I mentioned, the San Fernando Valley is one of the largest suburban areas, and you really don't feel like you're part of LA City. LA is 500 square miles. The county has 10 million people. The city has 4 million people, and you may just not feel connected to the vibe of other parts of the city. And I'll give you an example. If you want more of that downtown kind of urban feel of Los Angeles, the San Fernando Valley is definitely not going to be for you. It's more sprawled out. It's flat. It's grid. You don't have all the entertainment right at your fingertips like if you were living downtown area. You're not going to feel connected to kind of like the glitz and glamour of Hollywood and Beverly Hills. It's a very different lifestyle, and it takes a while to travel there. So just the people are different. The culture is different. Even though it's the same city, it just feels different. And if you're trying to have the vibe of the beach city, the beach lifestyle, San Fernando Valley is not going to be it for you because, well, you're not by the beach. You're not by the coastline. It takes about 40 minutes or so to get there. And so you don't have that kind of chilled, relaxed ocean breeze feel when living in the San Fernando Valley. Same if you're trying to be more connected to the South Bay, that coastal community. You just don't get it by living in the San Fernando Valley. The San Fernando Valley is its own entity. It's really kind of it's its own separate region from the rest of the city. Now, sports teams, of course, if all the local people are connected to the local sports scenes here. But even then, you don't really have any of the major sport venues next to you, so that's not even a big part of your lifestyle. It takes some traveling to get there. Of course, if you're moving from out of the city, if you're moving from out of state or other parts of California, you're probably going to bring your sports tribes with you. So that may not be a big issue. But in general, you're just not going to feel connected. And because it takes so long to get to these regions, you're really not going to go there that often unless you have reason to for work or family or friends. And if it's not for work, something that you kind of have to go to, if it's for family and friends, you may not even meet them in where they're living if they're living over in downtown or Santa Monica or Culver City or Hollywood. You may meet somewhere in the middle because both of you don't want to sit in traffic. And so this may affect your family life because if you're coming to LA City and you're thinking, wow, I'm going to be part of the city, I'm going to enjoy the beach, I'm going to enjoy Hollywood, I'm going to enjoy downtown, you're really probably not going to in reality. You're probably just going to be enjoying all the entertainment and all the suburban life that the San Fernando Valley has to offer, and it has a lot to offer, but you're not going to get that quintessential LA glitz and glamour, LA beach lifestyle. And if that's what you want for your family, that's what you want for your kids, then San Fernando Valley is not going to be the place for you. Okay, fifth on our list for reasons why you may want to not move to the San Fernando Valley, and this actually applies to LA in general as well, but the pressure to kind of be a part of the hustle. Now, again, the cool thing about the San Fernando Valley is you're not right in the middle of the hustle, you're not right in the middle of all the entertainment, so you don't necessarily feel it on a daily, but in general, the overall vibe is there's a lot of pressure to make it in LA, to make it in the San Fernando Valley. The San Fernando Valley has big connections to the movie industry, the entertainment industry. And if that's where you're going for, and that's what's drawing you to Los Angeles and the San Fernando Valley, there is a big hustle scene to get ahead and to always be a step ahead of the competition, ahead of the neighbors. So sometimes you get that vibe in the San Fernando Valley where not so much like a one-upsmanship with your neighbors and friends, but people always want to know, what do you do and what do you do for a living? And are you part of the industry, or are you part of the tech scene, or where are your kids going to school? Are they going to private school? Are they going to the best magnet program? And so you may feel the pressure to kind of keep up with the Joneses, for lack of a better term, but keep up with your neighbors and friends. And sometimes that adds a pressure where you don't necessarily want for your kids. And if your kids are feeling that, as far as, school, and as far as extracurricular activities, and as far as what am I going to do with my life if they're older kids in high school, that all is very real when living in the San Fernando Valley and in Los Angeles. And with those longer work hours sometimes comes missing school functions and your kids' activities, and just again to keep up with that lifestyle. So it can affect your kids if they don't see you in the audience or they don't see you at the game. It also affects you as a parent. You feel kind of like you're disappointing your kids. So when you're moving to these areas, you got to know that the pressure could be on to sustain that lifestyle. In many cases, you need a dual income because, well, housing affordability, It's expensive here. Check out some of my other videos for more detail about the cost of housing, but you need dual income. So there's the pressure of having to stay within the hustle of having that, not necessarily having a stay-at-home parent. And you're not necessarily working 9 to 5. Many people here are startup companies, creating their own small businesses, working in industries where it's not necessarily 9 to 5. You're working much longer hours, and that can take away from family time, whether it's during the week or sometimes you got to work weekends. So just to keep up with the lifestyle when living in the San Fernando Valley. Now, as I mentioned, the benefit of the San Fernando Valley is you don't have to keep up as much or feel that pressure as if you were living in Santa Monica, Playa Vista, Culver City, Los Feliz, Beverly Hills, Hollywood, downtown. I mean, that has a much that hustle is a lot more accelerated, but still you're gonna feel it. So just be prepared for that, and know that it's going to affect you, and possibly your family, and your kids may feel the residual effects of that as well. So you can see there's a lot of reasons to make the move to the San Fernando Valley, like my wife and I did, and like many of our clients have. But there's other reasons why this may not be a suitable community, suitable region for you. For some of the negatives I mentioned, also, if you really want to be entrenched in the entertainment and that really quintessential LA vibe, then San Fernando Valley is probably not for you. But if you want that suburban lifestyle, then it's a great spot because you can still be part of the bigger picture, part of the city. You're just not living within it. If you want more videos like this, make sure you subscribe, tap the bell to get notified, and comment below. Would love to hear again where you're thinking about making that move. If you are thinking about making that move, hit us up at the contact information below. My team and I love helping people move to and relocate to the San Fernando Valley, to Los Angeles, the surrounding regions. We'll see you on the next video.